Hi, I'm Lizzie, and today I'm going to be showing you my everyday teacher morning routine. So I need something that's quick and easy, but also something that makes me feel confident and pretty, so that when I go into work every day, I feel ready to take on all the challenges. So what I start with every day is washing my face in the morning, and then I take some SPF, and I really like the Biore UV Watery Essence. I think this is a really good chemical SPF, and I take a little bit of that and I spread it all over my face. SPF is one of the best anti-aging things that you can do, and I like layering a chemical SPF underneath a physical SPF to get maximum protection. This also acts as a primer. Normally what I like to do is let this set so I can go make some tea or coffee so that I can have that while I'm doing the rest of my makeup. Now, after we have our SPF on and our moisturizer on, I'm gonna put on my foundation. I've been liking Estee Lauder Double Wear, and this is actually a pretty heavy full coverage foundation, but it doesn't have to look cakey. Everyone wants to look fresh and flawless without looking like they're wearing any makeup. So what a lot of people like to do is take a very light makeup approach, very light foundation, BB cream, and put that on. But if you go the opposite way and you take a very heavy foundation, full coverage, what you can actually do is use way less product to get the effect that you're looking for. So I'm taking a really full coverage foundation, Double Wear Estee Lauder, and I'm going to put that on my damp beauty blender. It always has to be damp, onto our primed skin so that the foundation will be able to be sheared out to the amount that I want it to be. So you can see right away the coverage that it gives and the color. Make sure you blend down the neck. Actually a really matte foundation, and it can look really dry if you live in a very dry climate. But I work in a climate that is very humid, so using a really matte foundation with the moisturizer works really well because you will still look fresh and dewy, but you won't have your makeup just wiping off throughout the day and fading off throughout the day. The other reason why I like this foundation is because since it's so long wearing, such high coverage, you don't need to wear concealer. It works really well as a concealer, which cuts out a step in the morning. So you can see right there, right away I covered up my dark circles underneath my eyes. Alright, so I've got the foundation on and blended in. I'm going to take some powder for underneath the eyes to set the foundation so it doesn't crease. I am going to be using the IT Cosmetics CC Airbrush Perfecting Powder. I actually don't like this powder very much, but it does the job, and if you don't use too much, it doesn't look too cakey. But I think there are better powders out there, but we're gonna make it work. I do like that this has 50 plus SPF. Okay, next, we're gonna put some color onto this face. We're gonna start with bronzer. And this is my favorite bronzer. This is the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. It smells really good. And I start up here doing little taps, because this is where I want most of the color to go. and it gives color, shape, and dimension to the face. It's very fast, very easy, very blendable. Put some on the forehead, up here, other side, and done. Now for blush. I love blush. I am going to use a Tarte Amazonian Clay blush in the color Prim. It's from this holiday palette from a couple years ago, but they last forever. I think this will last the rest of my life. And Amazonian Clay bronzers and blushes last a long time on the skin, so it's good for a long day of teaching. At the end of the day, the color will still be there. Blush is one of the things that fades the fastest. And as you can kind of see, I'm going really high and all over with the blush. If you go high, it brings the cheek up, so it lifts the face. And I am putting it where I'm going to be putting some highlighter in a second as well. Okay, there's blush. See, this is pretty quick, pretty easy morning routine if you're a teacher. I don't think you have to do makeup. There's no rules with makeup, but for me, being able to do my makeup with a cup of coffee or a cup of tea in the morning helps me have time to reflect and get ready for the day and be mindful about what I'm going to be doing. Okay, right now I'm using my e.l.f. brush and my e.l.f. highlighter. It's Baked Highlighter in Moonlight Pearls. I've been using this same highlighter for 3.5 years now, and it's still going strong, except for the packaging's kind of broken. And I put highlighter up here on the tops of the cheekbones, but I also love to put highlighter right here on my Cupid's bow. So I just kind of dust it right there, and it kind of looks a little bit crazy right now, but in the end, it just pulls the whole look together and it gives a lot of life and brightness to the face. This is a pretty natural highlight, so if you want to make this part a little more shiny, you can just go in with your finger and just touch up the parts that you want to make a little more intense. Beautiful, very pretty. Now, this part I don't enjoy. I'm going to be doing my eyelid primer, because if I don't do eyelid primer, my eyelids will crease. This is the best drugstore eyelid primer that I can find. It is the Wet n Wild Photo Focus eyeshadow primer, and it works. It gets the job done. My eyelids don't crease too much, but it's definitely not the best primer there is. I prefer the Urban Decay Primer Potion. I think that works a lot better, but it's way more expensive. With this one, if you're not super careful, it will clump up and look really weird. But the trick is to use a tiny, tiny amount and do one eye at a time. Okay, and I usually like just kind of close my eyes and let that kind of dry for a second. And all right, now it's time for eyebrows. So I like to brush them out, make them look all crazy. And then I'm gonna be using this eyebrow kit from e.l.f. It works really well, especially if you have dark brown hair, has a bit of a red undertone. My eyebrows, I don't need to do too much with them because I have pretty full eyebrows, but I like the tail to be darker. So I just go in, put some color, and I like to clean up the very beginning right over here so it looks more precise. This brush is also from e.l.f. So for this part, I just do a line at the bottom, add some color, and then go up. Sometimes I do my eyebrows a little too much. So I try to use a light hand. Okay. Looking good. At the beginning of the year with my students, I always do name cards, and on the back of the name cards, they have to draw a symbol to represent their family, something to represent their community, and something to represent themselves. And this year, I had a student draw an eyebrow for one of her symbols, and they have to explain why. And she said because she thought eyebrows are very important. I would have to say, I agree. Eyebrows are very important. Okay, eyebrows are done. And now we will do some eyeshadow. I usually don't do any eyeshadow because I don't want to. But if I have extra time, then what I normally do is actually take my butter bronzer, take a little fluffy brush for the crease, and put a little bit in the crease, like this. For transition shade. And then I'll take this brush, which is a Morphe M433, take a little bit of a darker color, which today I'm actually going to use the powder side of the e.l.f. eyebrow kit we just used, and go right on the outer edge to deepen that up, to just give it some dimension. And from here with the eyes, you're good to go. You can go more crazy if you want to, but this is what I usually do. Except for one thing I kind of forgot. I always do an inner corner highlight to brighten up. All right, so now time for mascara. Curl your eyelashes. And then I'm going to go in today with the L'Oreal Telescopic Mascara, but I also often use the Superhero It Mascara. This one's a lot more intense. This one is really, really natural. Gives you a natural lash. I also like it because the wand is super tiny. So you can see between the two eyes over here, it's very natural, but compared to my natural lashes, there's a lot more color, there's a lot more oomph. Now I'll do the other eye. You can see I'm taking my time with this. I think mascara is something that sometimes if you take an extra 20 seconds, you can make sure it's not clumpy. Every lash gets coated and it can look really pretty. Okay, that's done. And as you might be able to tell in the video, my face is not super matte from the SPF that we used. We still have that soaking into the skin. And since I'm in a tropical climate, there's just a lot more moisture in the air. If you are someone who is in a more dry climate, you can use a more dewy foundation to give you more of a fresh look, or you can also use some kind of setting spray to put some more moisture back onto the skin now that we've done all our powder products. Okay, so the last thing we need to do for the face is some lips. So I'm gonna use a lip liner. This one is from Tarte, and line the lips. Just a natural lip color, and I'm actually going to put on some chapstick first. I'm also going to need my lipstick, which is in my purse. Okay, so I have the lip liner on, and I'm going to put on some lipstick. This is the NYX Butter lipstick, and it's in the shade Root Beer Float, and it looks really gross right now because it melted in my purse. I really like the color. It's a very natural color for my lips, and that's the finished product. Sometimes I will spray my face with some setting spray. Sometimes I will do eyebrow gel in my eyebrows, but those are more just extra steps that you don't need to do every day. I hope you enjoyed this teacher everyday makeup morning routine, and please give me a like and a subscribe, and write down any videos you would like to see next in the comments below.